Alright, well today guys, I'm going to be talking to you all a little bit about the swine flu epidemic and the effect that it has had on people throughout history and as well as the modern effect that it has on us now. And I just want y'all to take a moment with me and imagine that y'all have just witnessed the death of over 575,000 people. Many of y'all might think, what was the cause of this death? How did so many people die from this singularity? And some of y'all might think of it as a war, or maybe even a series of terrorist attacks. But the actual cause of death is the influenza virus. And for those of you who don't know, this number is actually a real statistic that I found and I've recorded, and it is actually the amount of deaths that happen yearly, globally, from just the influenza virus alone. And the influenza virus takes its toll in an epidemic pattern through spreading, and it's extremely hard to manage once it's spread, and it also has a massive economic effect on many countries. And now let's take a look at spreading. Now, how the virus spreads, economic effect, management, and important facts. This is just kind of the main ideas which I'll get in this speech. It's really the perfect virus. The virus is capable of adapting immensely, which means basically it changes itself to fit its needs to survive. Now, as you can see, the spreading of the virus is airborne, body fluids, and contact. Now, they believed, according to Lewis and Goldman, swine flu contained the virus, they believed that the swine flu started in pigs and other small animals, and it spread to humans. Now, naturally, the virus did not occur being able to live within a human body and affect a human body. We were able to fight it off, and it wasn't able to be transported to us. But after years of adaptation, it's finally built itself to be able to affect human beings, and it's extremely contagious in this way. It's capable of surviving. The virus is extremely hard to get rid of. Without treatment and the medical technology that most countries do not have, like we're lucky in the U.S. to be able to treat the swine flu because we have the right medicine and we have the perfect amount of it, and we're never in short supply. And yeah, it's a little bit expensive, but we have a better insurance plan than most people around the world do. So the fact that we are able to get treatment for this virus is a medical miracle in itself. Now the second is the economic effect. Most people would not understand how a virus, a sickness, like everyone gets sick, how does this affect our economic health and our economy as a nation? And it also has a global impact. Well, people start to change their behaviors, their spending patterns, based off of this virus. People will go and they just won't buy anything. They won't leave their house. I mean, you're not likely to go to a tightly packed area because of a virus. If there's an outbreak or an epidemic, you're going to want to be in the safety of your own home and try and stay as healthy as possible. It also has an extremely negative impact on public transportation. Many people do not want to get on the bus whenever there's a swine flu epidemic that is locally or even statewide. I mean, who wants to get sick like that? And it also affects industries and their stock market value. Their stock will literally go down into the negatives because of the swine flu virus. Whenever there's industries such as people that provide public transportation, or people that help people, or like kind of these food stamps and stuff like that, these businesses will lose money over this, and it greatly affects them in a very negative way. And last, but definitely not least, there's management. Management, it requires treatment and can actually lead to death. Most people in America do not realize that the swine flu is a deadly virus. And that's, I mean, who would think that in America? We get it all the time. It's a very common sickness. I went to the doctor yesterday and got tested for strep and flu, and it came up negative, so y'all are good. But I mean, it's a common danger for us. But I mean, when you look at the many people that have passed away due to the virus and how hard it is on their immune system, you'd be shocked at what you find. Now, how do you manage a virus that is the perfect virus? Well, it's preventable through vaccines and caution, but many people aren't educated on vaccines. I mean, most of you probably don't know if your shot records are updated or if you've been to the clinic. I mean, it's not a common thing to do. And so clinics have been educating people around the world in foreign countries and in this country, and they've been trying to tell them, like, hey, you need this vaccine. It'll help you fight this virus, and it'll help you stay healthy. And a lot of people, just uneducated people, are the main thing that spreads this virus. And so it's important that we pay attention to what we do, especially when we are sick, and how we can stop from giving the sickness to other people, because that's the main thing. And you know, according to H1N1, prevention is always better than a cure. That means that if you can prevent yourself from getting this sickness, you will be way better off. And finally, the epidemic. The epidemic is definitely caused by spreading poor management, and it's always going to have a negative economic effect. But we as Americans should be able to come together and think of better ways to manage and prevent this illness. So let's go ahead and just help each other to stop witnessing the death of 575,000.